we place a very deliberate emphasis on interdisciplinary studies. We place a deliberate emphasis on interdisciplinary publications, particularly because they reach a wider audience and they can appeal to a mass public. And whenever they access the videos that we produce. But it is important for us to note that the emphasis on interdisciplinary type of publications is not coincidental, but is a very deliberate exercise that is intended to bring about specific outcomes of stimulating an appetite, stimulating an interdisciplinary appetite to consume knowledge in an interdisciplinary fashion. The concept of appetite can help us to clarify some points that are very important for us. Many of you who understand how appetite works in terms of food science, you will understand that the human body at every point, after exerting a lot of energy on work and on different aspects of life, the human body will naturally desire and want to consume food so that it can keep on running. It will naturally develop an appetite for water and an appetite for food. And that is what keeps the human body running. But when we look at the brain as well, the brain is one such aspect. It's one such body part that also desires and also develops an appetite for knowledge. And that knowledge must be consumed in an interdisciplinary fashion. The concept of life itself is interdisciplinary. We interact with a lot of institutions, objects, discourses, people that we find in different areas of life. We interact with people in the health industry, in the education industry, in the legal profession, in the science profession. And we need to get their services. We need to have conversations with them. So the brain naturally desires to want to consume the knowledge that is diverse, the knowledge that obviously comes in the form of interdisciplinary insights and discourses. So the emphasis that we place on interdisciplinary studies is very deliberate, and it is very important. We have now invited over 300 professors from different disciplines and professors who happen to be staying in different parts of the world. They have shared their knowledge, they have shared their publications, their research interests, the kind of courses that they teach, and this has been very helpful. It has created a platform through which knowledge producers can interact with knowledge consumers. So now, becoming an interdisciplinary thinker or an interdisciplinary consumer of knowledge begins by understanding that your subject or the discipline that you studied is not enough to explain how the world works. I'll repeat that point. Becoming an interdisciplinary thinker or becoming an interdisciplinary knowledge consumer begins by understanding that the subject that you studied in school, the discipline to which you belong to, is not enough to explain how the world works. So if you are studying a very specific degree program, to say nursing, political science, psychology, mathematics, statistics, anthropology, history, and economics, it is important for you to understand that you are studying a very specific set of discourses that play a very important role in shaping how you perceive the world. In other words, it plays a very important role in shaping your perspective of how the world works. Many of the course outlines that are modeled along the lines of a degree program, they constitute of a reading list that is made up of different scholarly works, books, manuscripts, journal articles, newspaper articles, and different sorts of papers that can help students to understand that particular course. The discourses in those course outlines formulate a structure that fits a particular discipline, which is why we say you major in political science, you major in physics, you major in food science. So when you graduate or when you come out of that degree program, you are a product of that particular discourse. You come out of that program with a worldview that is dominated by the discourses that you were exposed to. However, you will all agree with me that that set of discourse and that particular degree program is not enough to explain how the world works in its complexities and in its sophisticatedness. So this is the reason why there are several degree programs, such that when you are studying political science, somebody else is studying food science. When you are studying economics, somebody else is studying computer science. When you are studying engineering, somebody else is studying history. So that at the end of the day, there is a significant population, a group of people that possess a knowledge and an understanding of multiple discourses. And they can contribute to society in specific areas. But the success of the skill set that is imparted upon that group of population can only be successful when that group of people have the capacity and the potential to collectively work together to achieve a particular outcome. That is where the need for cooperation, the need for understanding each other begins. That is when it is important for economists to understand the work that computer scientists do. This is why engineers have to understand very well the work that medical doctors do. Because at the end of the day, we are going to work in an interdisciplinary fashion. The services that we provide are going to be needed by people who did not train or did not study a specific degree program or did not study a specific set of discourses during their time of university or college. So it is very difficult to study multiple disciplines or subjects in a very comprehensive way because it takes a lot of time, which is why people specialize. But it is important to note that the emphasis on interdisciplinary studies is not to understand everything in a comprehensive fashion, but it is to understand all aspects from a special point of view. When people understand each other's works, and when people understand each other's skill set, the aspect of cooperation, the aspect of coordination is very easy to achieve in any setting. In the church, in politics, in civil society, in the technology industries, cooperation is easy to achieve when different people who are working in that particular space understand each other's skill set very, very well. So the biggest assignment for you is to study closely and understand how your subject, your area of specialization, your discipline connects with several other disciplines that other people studied. How does your knowledge contribute to other fields of study? And how do other fields of study contribute to your understanding of what you specialized in? With me here are multiple disciplines and subjects, but I'm going to use an example that can help you to understand how connected these subjects are, even though they might sound as if they are not related at all. I'll name some of them for those who cannot see. Biology, engineering, economics, history, computer science, statistics, food science. These are different subjects and disciplines. And sometimes it can be very difficult for someone to really see the connections between these subjects, between these areas of study or disciplines. So to give you an example of the connections that we are talking about, I want you to assume that if you give yourself an assignment to go out and do research into how the government works, you are going to interact with multiple discourses. If your particular assignment is to understand the federal government, it means you are going to have to go into a library and look into a particular section that has books about the government. But books about the government can be written by people from different walks of life. One of the first things that you may want to start with is understanding the history of government. So you're going to have to borrow from the knowledge of historians. Historians are your starting point in understanding anything because they give you the foundation of what you want to study or what you want to specialize in. It is at this point that we begin to see the importance of an interdisciplinary approach to studying anything. If you are done understanding the history of government, you would now want to understand the structure of government. And you have to borrow from the knowledge of political scientists, of governance experts, of legal practitioners in some cases. Those are going to help you. Those are going to provide you with discourses that describe comprehensively, systematically, and in an academic fashion how the government is structured. From the topmost office to local authorities. Political scientists have done that job very well. Governance experts have done that job very, very well. So on your journey to understand government, you have started with historians, you have gone a step further to interact with political scientists and governance experts. You are already on a journey of interdisciplinary connections. You have connected history and you have connected political science and you have connected governance studies. But you won't stop there, obviously. Governments need money, governments need resources, and governments need economic planning. If you are on your journey to understand how the government works, apart from understanding the history, apart from understanding the structure of government, you would want to understand how government administers its economic planning. You are going to have to consult the discourses of economists. And economists are going to break it all down. Economists provide us with a lot of economic theory that explains analysis on financial planning, income, taxation, spending, imports and exports, and different aspects of the economics of a country. So as we continue our conversation around that logic, we begin to clearly understand that these disciplines are connected. Of course, we specialize in what we specialize in, but the honest truth is these disciplines are connected and they need each other. So in other words, there is no saying that I don't need to consume knowledge from economists. There is no saying that I can't learn anything from engineering. I can't learn anything from finance. So the moment you become an interdisciplinary knowledge consumer is the moment you have an interdisciplinary understanding, a sophisticated and diverse understanding of how the world works. So there is no saying that I can't learn anything from economics, or I can't learn anything from history, I can't learn anything from food science. You can learn anything from a special point of view. There are researchers of climate change in political science. There are researchers of climate change in economics. There are researchers of climate change in engineering. They are all studying one aspect from different areas of specialization. So the aspect of teaching is very important, because whenever you study a particular discipline, whenever you study a particular subject, you interact with knowledge producers in that field who become your instructors in the university, who become your instructors in college or in any institution of learning. These instructors help you to understand the discourses that you are provided, the discourses that contain the information that will guide you to become a specialist of that subject. The interaction you have with them on a day-to-day basis can enable a swift understanding of the subject. And you cannot normally get it outside the university, where you are required to work as an employee. You might not have the time to interact with those teachers. And in most cases, you want to access them. They are usually found in the university. You have to be a university student. But what we have done with this platform is to give you free access to knowledge producers. You can interact with them as they share their knowledge, particularly from their latest publications. So you don't just interact with people who are giving an opinion of a subject based on how they feel. You are interacting with people who are giving discourse and opinion and facts based on research that is peer-reviewed. So this is knowledge that you can use in civil society. This is knowledge that you can use in the government. It's knowledge that you can use in educational institutions and in religious institutions, because it qualifies as legitimate and credible knowledge. So this is why we come with books from the university press, and this is why we come with books from commercial presses that are in the business of publishing academic knowledge.